So I'm going to perform a SQL injection, a blind one, on the DEM vulnerable web application. And I'm going to keep notes so I can track the progress and also reflect on my journey. So it's under student, learn hacking, web, SQL injection, resources, DEM vulnerable web application lab, SQL injection.txt. And the first thing is to open the application. So the security for now is going to be low, and I'm going SQL injection blind. So this is the vulnerability, and in here I can type a user ID. So, and it says that user ID is missing from the database. So when the query returns false, this is the message. It returns 0 results on this message. So message, and if I go on, user ID exists in the database. This is the only message that I have on the response of the database. So message when the query returns 0 results, message on one or more than one results. The whole purpose of SQL injection is to extract information from the database, and if I manage to run a SQL injection on this, I get feedback from the message. So if this message appears, it means that my query returned false. If this one appears, it means that my query returned true. So I'm going for 8. User ID is missing from the database. 5, no 6, missing 5. User ID exists in the database. 0. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 users, I guess. So let's say that the query is select user from users. In this case, users is the table where ID equals to, let's say, select user from users where ID equals to 5. I'm saying this is the original query, and when we say, for example, when the database management system executes this query on the backend, this message is reflected on the front end. When the ID equals to 6, user ID is missing from the database is reflected. But I'm going to try to manipulate the query so it always returns true. So I can say something like this, which is a conditional. So the query becomes select users from users where ID equals to 6 or 1 equals to 1. If you have done some algebra, the college or high school maybe, you know that this query returns always true because 1 equals to 1, returns always true, and for the OR condition, if one of the conditions is true, the whole statement becomes true. So condition 1 or condition 2 or condition 3 or condition 4, etc. If one of these conditions is true, then the whole statement becomes true. So I'm going to enter this in the input form. Okay, it returns missing. So 5 or 1 equals to 1. It says that user ID exists in the database. Now I'm going to say 6. It says user ID is missing from the database. Probably the application is doing some. So if I say 6 or 1 equals to 1 and I comment the rest of the statement, is missing from the database. Probably they are doing some escaping. They are filtering the ID. Probably they are putting the ID inside quotes. So they are saying select user from users where ID equals to 6, and they are doing it like this. They put the value of the ID inside quotes. This can be escaped, so I can say select user from users where ID equals to 6 or 1 equals to 1. And to escape this, I need something like this. Okay, now it returns that the user exists in the database. And if I do it without the single quotes, I don't think it's going to return the same result. So now I know that it returns true, which for me means that I can manipulate the original query. And if I can manipulate the original query, I can execute any type of statement. Okay, so now I know this is vulnerable. I already knew it because this is a lab, but I just verified it. So first step, identify the vulnerable point and the payload. The payload is this. So payload for the identification is this. Now I'm going to try to extract the name of the current database. Name of the current database. This is going to be a bit hard because the database may be composed of many characters, and I can extract only a character at a time based on true and false. So I can say if, for example, database starts with substring database, and this extracts the first character on the current database equals to a, for example, do something. So I can say select the user from users where id equals to 5, and I need this condition to be true too. So if this returns the user, it means that the second condition is true, which means that the current database starts with an A. But first, the first step in this second stage is to extract the length of the database. First, I have to know how many characters the database is composed of. I'm going to change the music because so extract the name of the current database. First, find the length of the database. I already know that the backend is running MySQL. I can run nmap on that, I guess. Install nmap. Because different database backends have different syntax, although the SQL is the same, but they may have different features, different functions. So nmap 120.0.1. So on 306 TCP is open and it's MySQL. So database is MySQL, and for MySQL there is a function called len, I guess. Let me Google it. MySQL length string. It's called length. So select length as length of string. So length finds the length of a string. So I can say length database So now the payload is something like select user from users where id equals to length database, and I need to escape it. So I can say 5 and I can comment the rest of the statement. So and length database equals to 5, for example. If this, so I know that user with id 5 already exists. I have to check for the second condition for this part. So if this returns true, which I already explained how I determine based on the message. So if this returns true, it means that the length of the database, of the current database, is 5. So I can try with 6. I can try with 7, with 8. Yes, so user ID exists in the database, which means that this returned true when I tried it with 8 characters. So this means that the database is composed of 8 characters. And I know this is true because the name of the database is dvwa underscore sec, which is composed of 8 characters. I have created this database for the lab. And now the next step is to extract the first character of this name. So let's suppose I have no idea about it. Extract the first char of the database's name. MySQL has a function called substring, which is used to create subs of a string, to split it in kind of programming language terms. So it takes a string and then it needs an index where to start substringing, and it also needs a step, how many characters. For example, substring hacking 01, it tells to extract, in this string it tells to extract one character from the 0 position, which 0 position is here, h. And I can use this function or database feature, whatever you want to call it, to do conditional comparisons. So select user from users where user or where id equals to whatever, not whatever, we need the right payload, 5, and substring database equals to d, for example, because I know. But in here can be any character, and that's where automation becomes useful, because I can create a for loop, and with that for loop in programming language I can go as many rounds as the length of the database, and I can test it against many characters. For example, to extract the first character, the second character, and the 8th character in this case. So select user from users where id equals to 5 and substring database equals to d. So this is going to be closed in double quotes, in single quotes. So I'm going to try this, but I need to escape it in here too, so it becomes like this, and it returns that user is missing from the database. So I'm going to check a bit the substring on my SQL. So does it start from 0? The position can be both a positive or negative number. If it is a positive number, this function extracts from the beginning of the string. Maybe it starts from 1. I'm not sure. Okay. Okay, so the mistake was that I was trying to extract from index 0, which does not exist. So the first character is considered of index 1 and the second of index 2 and so on. So if I take this payload and I try, for example, E or B, it's going to return false. User ID does not exist, is missing. But if I change it to D, like I did in the beginning, it returns true, which means that the first character is D. So this returns true. And I have to do the same for the second character until the 8th character. This is time consuming, so I need to write a script for it, which I have already started. It's called blindSQL and it's now it's in the it's not matured yet. It's in the beginner phase, but I'm going to improve it, and of course I can improve it. So I'm going to move to another step. I'm going to move to, so what's the next step? Now that I have the current database, I can try to extract the tables, and then from the tables I have to go to the columns. So extract the table names. Now it gets a bit complicated, I guess. So first I have to find how many tables there are. So count the tables. So I'm going to enter my SQL now and do some tests in there. So sudo mysql -user root -p. It's a good practice to experiment with the statements inside the database management system, and if it's a real one, it's better, because there are many virtual, I guess, but I prefer a real environment. So I can do use dvwa sec to enter this database, and I can say select all from dvwa sec. Okay, select all, no tables used. Select table name from information schema the tables where table schema equals to dvwa sec. Okay, so this returns two tables. So information schema the tables contains all information about tables, and then I specify the database with this where kinda conditional in here, where table schema equals to dvwa undersec. and then I can use some count in here, and this should return 2, I guess. Okay, it returned 2. So the statement now becomes select user from users where ID equals to 5. And this is so now I need to do some bit of uh, mathematical expressions, I guess, because I need a condition in here, but the thing is that I have two select statements, and I don't think it's possible to do select 1 and select 2, for example. No, it's not possible. So maybe I can put this inside I can put this whole expression inside brackets. So the idea is now this whole expression. So this gets executed, and then the end condition is done on this and on this. And now I need to do the proper handling with the quotes. So it goes one in here and one in here by the application, so I can do this. And then I can use a comment in here, and I can say equals to 4, for example. Okay, so it works. So this is the payload. Okay. This comments the rest, so when the application adds the quote, it comments it and it becomes a comment, so it doesn't get executed by the database management system. So select count table name from information schema tables where table schema equals to dvwa underscore sec, and then test it if this count is equal to 2. So this whole expression gets calculated, and then it is joined with the end conditional and with the rest in here. And since there are two tables, this returns true. So now it's doing this. It's missing, okay. this is not getting executed. Okay. 5 and okay. Okay, so now I know that there are two tables in this current database. There are two tables in the current database. Now that I know how many tables there are, I can start with the first table. And I have to find the length of the first table. Okay. Extract the name of the first table. So if it works for one, it works for the rest, and that's where automation is useful. I need one scenario and then I can repeat the scenario with the help of Python. Okay. To extract the name of the first table, first I have to know how many characters there are. So select table name from information schema, the tables where table schema equals to dvwa sec, and then I have to say limit 0 1. So this limit does limitation on the response. So if there are two results, this extracts the first one. I can say, for example, 1 1 and extracts the second result, because if I omit this, it gives me two tables. Let's say I need the first one. I say limit 0 is the index, the step 1, so it gives the first table. So this I tested on the environment. Now I need to construct the payload for input on the form. So I need to do something like select user from users where id equals to 5, where id equals to 5, and select length, table name from information schema the tables where table schema limit 0 1. I think I have to put the comparison in here. So one quote is going in here, the second is going in here. These are quotes added by the application, and I have to bypass it. So one here, and then I comment the rest. So if the length of the first table is 5, this is going to return true. So I need to put this inside brackets, and maybe the comparison should be done in here. I'm not sure, so I'm going to try. Okay, user is missing, so I'm going with 8. Maybe the query is okay, so it's 5 9 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Okay, 9. So I'm going to try with 9. Okay, user ID exists in the database, which means that these conditions return true, which means that the length of the first table in the database is 9. So the above returns true. It means the first table name is 9 characters long. Okay. So I have to extract the name of the table now. So first I have to extract a single character. So extract the first char. So A was find the length of the table name. B is to extract the first char. So I have to use substring as in the case when I extracted the database name. So I have to do something like substring table name 1 okay. So select substring table name 1 from information schema dot tables, where table schema equals to dvwa underscore sec limit 0 1, because I need the first table, and in here this in brackets 5 select user from users where id equals to 5, and this whole other query. Substring so let's say I want to check if it's G. So this extracts the first character from the database returned, the table returned, and then I compare it with G. If it's G, then the all is going to return true. Then when joined with this, both of them are true, so the all result is true. And select substring table name 11 equals to G from information schema the tables or table schema equals dvw underscore sec limit 0 1. The application has the quotes, so I escape it and so I know it's G, but it's not returning true. Maybe the comparison should be done in here. And I don't need the comment because this is added and G becomes G takes place in the statement properly, how it should. Okay, it says it's missing again. So guest book. So substring table name 11 from information schema of the table. Okay. Okay, now it says user exists in the database. So if I say E, for example, is missing. If I say P, is missing from the database. Okay, G exists in the database. Okay, it exists in the database, which means that the first character is G and then there are 9 characters, so I have to repeat the same for the second character. And for the second character, all I have to do is change the position in here, which is at the second position. So the second character is U because I know it since I am the one who have created the database, and I can check it. Okay, it says it exists. Okay, cool. So and so on for the other charts. The problem with blind SQL injection is that it takes a lot of time to extract data. It's beautiful, like how the attack is done and how it is performed, but it takes a lot of time when it comes to extracting data. Now I need to extract the columns. But the table I'm interested in is the second table, which is taken with limit 1 1, which is the second table. With limit the indexing, it seems that it starts at 0, the position, so with 0 we get the first table, with 1 we get the second table. So I'm interested in the second table, and I'm going to extract the columns in the second table. Extract the columns in the table users. And the table users, how I got it with the same method. It's just a repetition, so I'm not going to do it. Now for the columns. Columns are stored inside information schema.columns, and I give where table name, I guess, equals to users. So select column name from information schema.columns where table name equals to users. So I have to test this. Okay, it gives me all the columns. So the columns for each table are stored inside information schema.columns, and if I know the name of the table, I can extract all the columns by specifying just the table name like this, where table name equals to users, and I extract the data from information schema.columns. This is some type of database, I guess. This information schema is a database which holds metadata about the database is created, and hackers exploit it, take advantage of it, so it's good. So extract column name, and I'm interested in the, let's say I have found how many columns there are with a count, like this, count equals to etc. I'm interested in the password and the user, so I can say select, so it's I guess 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. I'm interested in index 5 and index 6. 0 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, select column name from information schema dot columns where table name equals to users. Okay, and limit is 5 1. 5 is the position, step is 1, so I just need one result. Okay, okay, so password is retrieved, and I have to build the payload now. So select user from users where ID equals to 5, and so the first thing is to find the length of the column. Find the length of the column which is of true interest, because there are many columns like last login, but I don't care. I just need the user and the password, the hash, so I can crack them and log in as another user and maybe as an admin. I am an admin, but just have passwords for other users, because that's the purpose, to extract data. Password and user are the interesting columns in here, so I can do count in here. Count equals to, let's say, 12. So this is a quote from the application, this one too, when the ID is entered. Now proper escaping this and the commenting, so it becomes like this: copy, paste, try, trial and error, like live. So 11, 10, and select count column name equals to 10. PASSWORD. It's like 8 characters. It says again it's missing, so there may be some error in here. And select count column name equals to 8 from information schema that columns where table name equals to users. Limit 5.1. Three, 6, 8. Okay, 8 characters. Okay, empty set. Table name equals to use. Five, and select count column name from information scheme that columns where table name equals to users. Limit 5.1. Select column name from information schema that columns where table name equals to users. Limit 5.1. Password, okay. Maybe I need to do length, not count, because this is a string. So yes, I have to do length, not count. because I'm doing it on a string, not on a set of results. Okay. Okay, user ID exists in the database. This should return false. Okay, it returns false. Now 8 should return true. Okay, I know there are 8 chars in the column. I know there are 8 chars in the column at index 5. Now I have to extract the first char. So the payload is something like select substring column name 11 from information schema dot columns where table name equals to users limit 5.1 limit 5.1 commenting it, and then all of this should be inside brackets, and in here, and the comparison should be in here equals to, I don't need the commenting because I'm going to compare it to a character which is a string, so p, since I know its password, but I can do O, for example t, y, x, whatever, l. So select user from users where id equals to 5, and now this is the payload, this one. So I know the application puts the single quotes, and all I have to do is add one here and one here. So I'm going to find the first character in the column is missing. I'm going to try with O. Is missing, and then if I try P, for example, okay, exists in the database. This returns true because the column starts with P, its password, and I have to do the rest for the other 7 characters. I have to do the same for the other 7 characters. And after I have the name of the column, I need to extract some data. This is probably a hashed data in this column, the passwords, like SHA or type of hashes. Okay, I don't need it right now, but why not check? So SHA1, SHA2, MD5. So there are a lot of characters in here. So since I don't know what the hash is, I'm going to do a query to extract the length of let's say the first hash. Like, is it possible? So select all from, not select all, select password from user users, which is the table where id equals to 5, for example. Okay, select password from users where user id equals to 5. Okay, this is the hash, the first hash. But if I say select, you select password from users where id equals to 5, um, or 1 equals to 1, select password from users where user id equals to 5, or 1 equals to 1. Okay, this returns the all hashes, but I need to limit, so I need something like where id equals to 5 or 1 equals to 1, limit 0 1. But how do I know how many hashes are in this? So if I do select count password from user where user id equals to 5 or 1 equals to 1, just it gives 5, so I know there are 5 hashes. So 5 hashes, I just need the first one, so select password. So I know that limit 0 1 is going to return the first hash, and then I have to do length just to find the number of characters in the hash. So select length password from users. Length equals to like 32. Usually I know this is composed of 32 characters. Okay. So select length password equals to 32 from users. So and so select user from users where id equals to 5 and what? Okay, this is going to get inside brackets. I need to comment the rest because the application is going to add a quote and one in here, so proper handling. So it's not executing properly. I have not correctly copied it. Here, here, again. Where id and select length password equals to 32 from users where id equals to 5. Okay, it says that it exists in the database. So if I do like 62, well, I don't know why the music stopped. I need some music. Yes. I will try the same thing for the second password, and if the second password is the same length, it probably means that the passwords are hashed, and they are hashes of 32 characters. The same for second password, and second password can be limited with 11, so it becomes okay. It says it exists. Is missing because there is no such user with such an index, since there are only 5 users. There is no sixth one, since 5 the index 5 means for the 6th user. Okay, this should return true. Okay, true. So the other passwords are of 32 chars. It means they are hashed. Now extracting such a long string is really time consuming, so the good thing is to use the programming skills. I'm going to do a pause because I have to make some coffee, and I'm going to automate the whole process. So I'm back, and I have already worked on the script because I have done this challenge before. So at the moment I'm just going to try to run the script and see what it does. So I'm going to open a new tab, ls, and this is the script. So I I find the name of the table with a function, column name another function, first I need the name of the database, so I have headers, base URL. Inside headers I have a cookie, and base URL is this. So if I try to run it right now, it's not going to work because I need the cookie. So it returns an error since the response is not the right one, because the request is not properly done. So I'm going to get the cookie in here. Where are you, cookie? So under network, another request, and in the request headers, this is the cookie copy value. Would be a good idea to pass it as an argument from the terminal, but for now I'm going to pass it like this. So length found 8. dvwa sec is the name of the database. Number of tables 2, table length 9, guestbook, table length 5, users, and it prints the tables, and it just finds column length 6, avatar, column length 12, failed login. So I'm going to run the script in a separate window, and for now I'm going to close the database. I'm going to run the script in here. So one window for coding and one window for executing the script. Python 3 client SQL load.py, and the same results. So I have to clean some response first. So for example, these are printed after both of the tables are printed as a list. Print tables here. So this is a list. I remember that I store the tables as a list, so print tables prints this. For column index in range 2, so range 2 is 0, 1. Find column name and table is the table name, which is the first table. The first table is with index 1, not the first table, it's the second table, users. Okay, it takes users and then column index. So this message, I guess, is inside the function find column name. Okay. I have done some debugging in here, that's why I used to print it. So column length 12 failed login, so no URL is printed. So I'm going to try to find other columns. So I don't know the number of the columns, so I'm going to say for I range 7 maybe. So why is it printing URLs? I don't get it. Find column name, URL, print column length. Okay. Didn't I delete this? So I have other columns like password, user, and the beautiful thing is that it's the script doing it automatically, following the pattern for one column and repeating it for the others. As I said, we just need for loops. Okay, so if I do for column in range 8, range 8 is 0, 1, 2, 3 until 7, including 7. So user ID is new, range 9. Okay, error because there are only 8 columns, but I need to find the number of columns for each table, so I don't need to guess the range in here. And what was the statement to find the number of the columns? Find the length of the table name, extract the columns in the table. Okay, now I need my SQL, new window, so to MySQL dash P for the password. I feel like I want to watch a serial right now, but I have to finish this for myself first, because I need some discipline. Okay, so select all from users, use dvwa, select all from users. Can I count this? 5, but it just counts the users. I need to count the column names. Select all from select count or select column name from information schema the tables, and I need to count this. Okay, from information schema the tables were what? Were table dot columns. Okay, not tables. Where table name equals to users. Okay, 11. This says that there are 11 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So why does it say 11? I don't know. So this returns 8 columns, 1 column, 2, 3, 4 columns, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns. And when I do select count column name from information schema that columns where table name equals to users, it turns 11. So I'm going to check what does this return. So it current connection, total connections. So it's 11 minus 3. So it's count minus 3. Okay, find the columns in the tables. So I need a function called find column num for column numbers and the table name in here plus. Okay, so what's the payload? What's the payload for this? So let's say 5 or 1 and select column name from information schema that columns where table name equals to some table name in here. Then I need the hash to comment the rest of the statement. So I guess this is a payload. So column num payload. Now this might get a bit tricky because when this string is encoded as URL for the HTTP request, usually it gets messed up, and Now proper result is coming back. So I need to format the table name, which is going to be passed by this from this argument. But before doing that, I'm going to do request. So I have the base URL, return count -3, okay, column count equals to none. If column count is not none, return count -3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And by default return none. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to construct the request. Request equals to, so first the URL. URL equals to base URL dot format. Okay. URL equals to base URL dot format. Requests dot utils dot quote column name page. So basically utils.quote is some type of functionality inside the request library which helps to properly encode this string in here for the HTTP request, and this is necessary. Okay, so R for request equal to request dot get URL equals to URL, headers equals to headers, and through headers I also pass the cookie. And okay, this might be harder than I thought because I have to do some conditions in here to check some type of for loop, because I don't have output in the HTML response about the number of columns from which I can extract it. So column count is not none. Okay. If r.content, if true response is the message. So if this is in the response, in the HTML response, in r.content.decode utf8, it means that column count is returned. Column count equals to that number. Select so I need a count in here. Count, column name, equals like I need a number in here. And the number is going to come from the for loop. the number is going to come from the for loop, and I can so I need to format it. Okay. But what's the number to check? Let's say as maximum max columns equals to 20. So for cycle, or let's say for I in range, can we have 0 columns now? So 121. Max columns plus 1, and then I have to build the URL 1 2 3 4, make the request, 1 2 3 4, and break in here. Okay, so of course this needs after work, but for now I'm just coding, and column num payload is going to be formatted based on the index in here and also the table name. So I can do that format table name, and table name goes inside these curly braces. What are they called? Okay, and I also need to do the formatting for the integer in here. So column count, okay. So column num payload format, I guess, equals to column num payload percent I, and this goes in here. Column num payload format. Okay, so I'm going to do a check and then I'm going to test this function. There is a lot of string formatting going in here, and probably there is redundant code, duplicate code, and I need to find a way. So for now I'm going with it. Okay, so this is the payload. So this become users and this becomes 11, then this should return true. User ID is missing from the database, and if I try with 8, okay, this returns 8 columns, but when I run it directly on my SQL it returns 11, probably because I'm using my SQL as a root and it gets other columns. So column count. So the payload is good. True response in r.content.decode column count equals to that number. That number is I, because that's what I'm testing against. So I'm going to comment this. Try to find the columns in table 1. Print find column names table. Okay. Find column, no column name, what am I talking? Column numbers. Column num and well, okay. Okay, max columns is not defined. Did you mean max columns? I have a typo. Okay, I can fix typos, no problem. Yes, that's what I meant. Oh, column name payload format is not defined. Did you mean column num payload format? Yes, that's what I meant. Column num payload format. Okay, so I managed to find the number of columns for the table. And I can do some good printing, because there is a lot of information and it gets confusing. So print found %d columns in table table. Okay, not close. Found 8 columns in table users. Okay, not very good printing, but well, I'm going to leave it like this, at least for now. So 8 columns, but now I have to extract each one of the columns. Imagine extracting all of this data manually takes, I would say it would take a day. So 8 columns. Now extract the column in the table. 8 columns, so I have to limit until 7. Find column name. Do I have a function find column name? Yes. Oh, okay. And limit by in here is the range. So I can save the column name inside a global variable. Columns. Okay. So the tricky part here is that I have to save it for each table. So there are many ways to save it. For example, in a dictionary, the table name and then the number of the columns as a key value pair. But I just need the range for this table, for one table. So table column num equals to find column num for the table, and I can do this for any kind of table, but right now I'm interested in the table users, and I can pass table column num in here. And as for the range, table column num table column num 8, so it goes from 0 to 7. Okay, column length, column length, column length. Maybe I have to avoid like I should save like any column name inside a list. How automation is not that in the sense that not everything can be automated, because maybe I know that there are tools like SQL Map that automate this whole process, but I, I I would like to automate only for the things I'm interested in. For example, in here I'm interested about password and user. These are the columns from which I want to extract data. And let's say I save uh, I try to save table columns inside the list. So table columns dot append code name for the call in table columns 1 2 3 4 print they call. Okay, table columns is not defined. Okay, I'm doing so many types table. Okay, I need to remove this. Okay, okay, so I got all the column names, and now I'm interested in extracting password and user. So first I'm going to extract all passwords. Now this is the hard part, because I need a function called uh, extract column data, and it's going to take call name, I guess, and the other mm, extract the columns. Okay, so this is the payload. So this is the name of the column, and I also need the table. Okay, table name. It's good to keep space in here. Pass. Okay, so the payload is going to depend on the name of the column, so x data payload one, because I started with one and I'm going to end it with one. Okay, and in here is the name of the column name. But before extracting data, I need to find the length of the data inside the column name. Okay, payload, and in here is the table name dot format. Okay, code name, table name. So maximum data length, I'm going to set it to, let's say, 34. So the maximum length of characters that any data I'm interested in extracting is 34. I don't know what's the limit in my SQL. I guess it's like, I don't know, maybe 64. And I'm not going to dive in there right now. So maximum data length 34. After I get the length, I need to do for loop to extract the data. So and also I need limit by. So is it limit by or just limit? I guess it's limit by. My SQL limit by. Is just limit. Okay. Okay, for I in range 135, and if the column name is password, then each one of the columns is of the same length, the data in the columns, because they are just hashes. So for I in range 135, I'm just going to say URL is equal to base URL dot format request dot reduce dot quote x data length payload. And in here %d, and limit by should come from the number of of users, so I have to calculate it in the script. So limit, and limit by should be in here. So in here goes the column name, in here goes the table name, and in here goes limit by. Limit by. Okay, call name, table name, limit by. Okay, and on %d should go the index, because I'm going to test it against 1 to 35, which in range this produces 1 to 34. Okay, so x data length payload format equals to x data length payload dot format dot no percent I, not format. So I goes to D now. Okay, then the request equals to request dot get URL equals to URL, headers the same. If through rest in r.content.code etf-8, what should happen? So if I get the true response, it means that I got the length of the data in the column. So call data length equals to call data chars, so none, one, two, three, four, call data chars equals to what? To I, then break. Call data chars, call data length. Then I'm going to use call data length inside a for loop with the main purpose of extracting each one of the chars. So call data length is found. "32 characters" for example, then it's substring from 32 characters, for example, substring from 1 to 32, so it's substring 1 1 column name, then it's substring column name to 1, substring column name 31, etc. Okay, so I'm going to construct a payload. So and select substring column name 1 from, I know the column name now, it's, let's say, password. I know the table too from users, and I have to do limit 0 1, for example, for the first user. Select user from users where id equals to 1 or 5, whatever. So this is the statement that I need to run. Select user from users where id equals to 1 and select substring. Am I recording? Yes. So total time is 2 hours. Not bad. Select user from users where id equals to 1 and select substring password 1 1 from users limit 0 1. Oh, I need some water. I really need this water. So limit is coming from an outer for loop. After I have gathered information on the number of rows, I have to find the rows. Okay, so I have to worry about this now. This becomes okay, substring, this should be inside brackets, equals to, let's say, a char a, and this becomes like this when passed to the application. So this is the payload. X data length payload, and I'm going to say X data char payload. This is for extracting the characters. Okay. And select substring from users and this and that. Okay, I'm going to close it in here because the last time that I did some triple quote stuff I got bad encoding. And select substring. Now the char is going to be based on char set. So this is for formatting. The column is for formatting too. Table. So it goes dot format and limit to. So call name, table name, and limit by. Okay. And after I got the length, I can say for for char in, for char idx in call data length, because that's how many characters I'm going to extract, and that's how many times I need to do a for loop. So now I'm going to say for each character that I have not extracted, do a comparison with the entire char set. So if it's like 32 characters, I'm going for the first character, and to find the first character I have to query the database like 32 times in theory, and test it, not 32 times, I have to query the database as many times as this char set, because the character can be A, can be B, can be 0, can be P, can be O. So I'm going to test it against this char set. So for char idx and call data length. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to go to the char set for char in char set, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to format this data char payload. Format equals to x data char payload percent char. So this char goes in percent s in here. Cool. R equals to requests dot get URL equals to URL headers equals to headers, but I don't have a URL, so URL equals to base URL dot format requests dot utils dot code, I guess, x data char payload format. I'm doing some extreme stuff in here. I should have rested, but I'm liking it. It's a challenge, so I like hacking challenges. So URL equals to base URL, okay, and if true resp in r.content.decode utf8 in here, since the response should be decoded, it means that 1, 2, 3, 4 the request return true, which means that the char is in the data I'm trying to extract. So code data chars plus equals to char, then break and continue for the next loop, outer loop. Okay, return code data chars. One, two, three, four. Well, I hope I'm doing it right in here. So now I just need to find the rows and execute this. Find all rows. So let's say I know for now there are five rows. Rows equals to 5. Extract volume data. For row in range rows. Extract volume data. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pass equal password password x pass. Oh, okay. Hash data equals to extract volume data. Then password users and then row print hash data. Okay. Maybe the cookie doesn't work anymore. Okay, it does. So let's see. object is not iterable for char idx in call data length. So call data length is none. Call data length is none. I remember that when I had some similar error like this. The problem was with encoding the triple quote strings, so I hope it's not there. Define column name, extract column data. So it's extract data length payload, and the variable here is char index in call data length. So call data length equals to I, where I range 1 to 35. So let's say length password equals to 32. 1 and select length password equals to 32. So I have to test this payload if it works in the input form. I'm going to put some music. So 1 and select length password equals to 32 from users, limit 01. It doesn't work. So this worked when I tried it, and 5 and 1 select. Okay, it works or it doesn't. So it works. And select length password equals to 32 from users. Okay, the payload seems correct. So I'm going to use the debugger now. pdb set trace. I'm going to trace if this is properly formatted. So So on one and select length password equals to 1, then new line from users limit 0 1. So the payload seems fine, I don't see any problem with it. Maybe because there are many spaces or a new line, I don't know. And select length password equals to 1 from. So if I enter this in the input form is missing, but if I change it to 32 it exists in the database. So when the index reaches 32, it should work, and true response should be in content, and call data should be set. So true response in r.content.decode, call data length. I'm going to trace it here. Maybe it's the problem with the URL. So URL, I'm going to copy it as a link, and then I need some URL encoder, decoder. So %d %d is not weird, because I say %o in here. So %d should take the value of I. So the problem is with URL, as I guessed. because in here should be x data length payload format. Okay. Okay, it's still not iterable. I'm going to use the debugger again. To find the URL. Two hours and a half. So URL, copy link, user ID is missing from the database. Now it is working, I guess. Yes, it's working. The URL is fine. So where is the problem? Where is the problem? Decode from users, password from the insurance. Okay, so this seems correct to me. Extract column data, so if true response, true as binar.count and decode, call data length equals to I. If I equals to 32, print URL. Okay, I'm going to do it in here. If I equals to 32, 1, 2, 3, 4, print URL. So I'm checking for the URL on index 32 because I know that this should return true on the response. Okay, copy link. Okay, this returns user ID exists in the database, so this works. Now the problem is that problem is that call data length is not set in here. Call data length equals to none. Call data length equals to while. So I'm going to try it again. Int object is not iterable. Ah, okay. I need to use range. Okay. What a dummy. I was not reading the message because now it's saying is not iterable. It's not saying that it is none. So call data length is set, but it's not iterable because I'm using it as an int. I need to do range. And I have to start from 1, and I have to add +1 in here. Okay, let's hope I extract some data. That would be cool, like some hashes. Now errors. Okay, what are you doing? Oh, what is it doing? It's really weird. Okay. These are the hashes. Can I see them? It didn't extract any data. Okay. So I say for char idx in range. So column data length is 32. So range 1 to 33 is range 1 to 33. Try in range 1 to 33. Print I. Is 1 to 32. So 1 to 32. Then I go for char in char set. Xdata char payload format. %char in here. So better to call the debugger pdb set trace and check the URL in here. So okay. I never done such a marathon video, so it's the first time, and I'm feeling really good. So Okay, at least it's returning some response. Ah, I need one in here. So as you can see, it's missing in here, so it's going just a single quote. And when I checked it with just a single quote, it doesn't work. Okay, so those requests were going empty. Whoa, what a hash! Just 32 same chars. Okay, so I'm doing I'm doing some mistake inside the for loop. So this is a dumb for loop because I'm getting the same character over and over and over 32 times. So if I go Python 3 s or hash char equals to this string, I'm sure it's 32 characters, so again hash char 32. So maybe some problems with formatting. x.char payload, or maybe with the substring, because I'm not doing proper indexing. So substring in here, this should be dynamic. Okay, and this should come from %d, %s, sorry, because no, %d because it's an integer, and this integer should come from char idx. Percent char idx and char. Okay, because I need a position. Okay, so now it's clear. Now I should have the hashes. Okay, so I got the hashes now. Yes, yes. Very, very cool. So if I go to crack station, this should be a valid hash, and it probably is going to crack it because these are known hashes. They are in the word list. I'm not a robot, traffic lights, verify, crack, red not found, green is found, so is password. Okay, and this tells me that I got valid hashes. Can I do them at the same time, like all these hashes? Pine trees, So password abc123 Charlie, let me in password. And one is the same hash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 users. So one is the same. Okay, so thank you for watching. I had a good time. I hope you learned something. And I'm in the current of improving myself as an amateur hacker. So feel free to comment or maybe send me an email at oltiano13@gmail.com. And if you don't mind, just hit the subscribe button. So thank you for watching.